Hi everyone, it's Jerry Ann with scrapandstampcreations.blogspot.com, and today I am working on the cutting guides for the Ivy Lane workshop that we will do all of the embellishing for tomorrow, which is May 26th, Memorial Day here in the United States. So I want to walk through the collection so that you can see what we're going to use. I've already separated out my paper as to which pages I'm going to use with which piece, and show you what you get in the collection. So we are going to use the Ivy Lane Workshop on the Go, which is Z1073, and in that comes 16 pieces of cardstock. That is one more piece than most of the other kits. So 16 pieces of cardstock, and we'll walk through each of those. It also comes with there we go. It comes with some Ivy Lane assortment, which are these flowers. There's some acrylic flowers as well as some fabric flowers. The item number is Z3001. Very pretty. And also the purple glitter gems, which are Z1936. So those come with the collection, in addition to an exclusive stamp set, which is only available in the collection, which is D1592. And it is really a cute stamp set. It's got some really nice little pieces in it. And I'll be cutting some of those out like I always do, and stamping them up so that we'll be able to use them. But there's some nice little tags and banners, some little triangles. It's going to be a cute set, and it's really nice and big. This piece here on our Cricut cut would be 2 1/4 inches, so it's a really nice big size. So I'm looking forward to using that. We also will be using a couple of the other suggested stamp sets for this collection. One we have already used a couple of times this month, which is C1581 Inspiration Flourishes, so some really nice little flourishes, as well as B1443, which is Hello Flare, and this is a 3-inch damask circle with some words and things. So one of the we'll definitely be using this. And then I also did pull out the Ivy Lane Card Making Workshop Stamp Set D1586. You can only get it with the card workshop. However, I have the card workshop, might as well use it with this. And then the other thing that I also decided to share was X7178C, and they are the my Stickease assortment for this collection. Some real nice flourishes, some nice big sentiments, some doilies, some really nice little things. So we'll definitely be using that as well on our pages. The other thing that we are using is we will be using 8 additional pieces of cardstock, and those are your bases, and you'll need to add those to the kit. However, there are 2 extra pieces of craft cardstock in this kit that are not slotted for anything, so you can use those for the base. We also will be using a variety of colors of ink, and those ink colors and numbers are we'll be using bamboo, which is Z2103. We're going to be using the color blush, which is Z2106. Let me pull those out as we go. Bamboo, which is not there. Let's see. Bamboo, where are you? Oh, bamboo. Blush. We'll also be using Hollyhock, which is Z2128. We'll be using Cocoa, which is Z2114. We're going to use Sweet Leaf, which is Z2153. And I think there's one more color that and Desert Sand, which is Z2118. So those are the colors that I'll be using with this collection. I might pull some slate in just because you guys know I like the slate color now that I've used it quite a bit. And what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and show you which pages I chose for which pieces of the cutting guide. And that way you guys will know what I'm using. And then we'll go through and do the cuts. And then I will break the video and we will do a second video of putting the bases on each of the pages so that when we get to our class tomorrow night, we can just embellish them up. That's the part that everybody seems to really like. And as long as we're kind of going in that direction, that's the way we're going to work it. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to give me an email at davearmy at comcast.net or tag a question here on YouTube because I do upload my Ustream videos to YouTube. All right, so again, this is the Ivy Lane Workshop on the Go collection, and this collection is really pretty. You can use this in order to make 4 pages, 2 2-page layouts. So this is the layout that they recommend, of course, with a cutting guide, and then the additional information as well that's good through January 2015. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. A couple of these pieces are directional, so I definitely want you to know that when we get going. And I need to label my my pages as we get going. So for pattern paper 1A, I am using this sheet of cardstock, and it's got a really pretty green on the back, green pattern. And so that also is the same piece for 1B. For 2A, I am using this really pretty piece here with all of the flowers and the damask kind of look and everything. So that's piece 2A, and it's got a really nice green pattern on the back. And again, 2B, same exact piece. And also for piece number 3A, I will actually be using this pattern, and this pattern has some print on it with the words going one way, and so we definitely need to make sure that we're cutting this piece on the side. So I want this to come in 6 inches this way for page number 7. Okay, and it's got a nice chevron on the back. It's a really cute chevron. Here, let's see if I can get it in there. You guys can't really see it. You can see it in the book, okay? And so, of course, that would be 3B as well. All right. For cardstock 1A, I'm going to be using Hollyhock. So that, of course, is for 1A and 1B for cardstock. For cardstock 2A, I'm going to be using the Ivy Lane Green, which is just a little darker than the Sweet Leaf. It's kind of in between Sweet Leaf and Pear. Okay, so I'm using Sweet Leaf. So this is the green, and that's for cardstock 2A and B. For cardstock 3A, I am using the Ivy Lane Purple, which is kind of the same color as Smoky Plum. I'm going to pull that out too. Z2147. We might use that as well, just if we need to stamp anything in purple. Okay, so that is cardstock 3A. Cardstock 4A is a piece of bamboo. And then cardstock 5A and B are the photo mats, and I have the white daisy for that. I'm building all of my layouts on Kraft Cardstock, and I do have 2 additional pieces of Kraft Cardstock left over for this kit to use. So I'm going to go ahead and stick those back in my little collection. I'll probably end up using my Cricut and cutting out some of the backgrounds and things for those with those pieces. So we will definitely be able to do that. So again, I am just walking through the papers that I've chosen for Ivy Lane, and I'm going to go ahead and do the cutting guides. First, I need to take and label all of my pieces. And so this will be for page number 2. This is page number 1. And we do this so that we can stick all of our pieces in as we cut. Page number 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Okay, so we now have our book or our bases kind of settled. We have our organization system in, and we're going to go right from there. So we'll go ahead and keep going with the video. And again, we're going to go ahead and use the pieces that we have here and put them away as we go. All right. First things first, we're going to go ahead and do our first piece. So again, cardstock 1, or pattern paper 1A, is out of this very pretty purple. Our first cut is going to be at 10 inches. Our next cut is going to be at 10 inches, so that gives us a 10 by 10 for piece number 1. We have a 225, or 2 inches by 225. And then we also need a 3/4 by 3/4 piece. Okay, so that leaves that there. There, we have our extra here. We need a 3/4 by 12-inch piece of this. And that leaves us the remaining piece here. Okay, so we've gone ahead and cut our pieces apart. This is for page number 1. I'm going to slip that in page number 1. This is for page number 2. This is extra, it goes in the front. This little piece is extra, goes in the front. This is for this little itty bitty piece is for page number 1. And this little piece is for page number 2. And this is extra with our zip strip. We are using the zip strips on these, so make sure that you're paying attention to your patterns as you kind of go. So piece number 1 is already taken care of. All right, for for pattern paper number 1B, our first cut is going to be at 5 inches. And at 10 inches. And then we need a 1.5 by 5-inch piece. So again, we're just go ahead and putting those on our pattern here. Our next cut is going to be at 1.5 inches. And we're going to cut this at 7 inches. And that gives us a 7 by 1.5 and a 1.5 by 5. The next cut we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut this at 3 inches. And then we're going to cut at 7 inches. And then we're going to cut this one at 1.5 because it's going to give us our 2 pieces of 7 that we needed. We also need a piece that is 2 3/4 inches wide by 4.5 inches wide. And this ends up saving the most paper if you do it that way. And then we have this across the bottom. So as you can see, we have, this is page number 2. So as I pull these off, you'll get to see a better picture of where everything goes. This is page number 2. This little piece right here is for page number 4. This is an extra. This piece right here is for page number 4. This page is for page number 3. And these two are also for page number 3. This large piece is for page number 1. and it says to use the flip side, so we'll definitely do that. These little pieces are extra, and so is this piece. So they all go in the front of our book. Okay, just like that. So that is pattern paper 1B. Next piece that we're going to cut is patterned paper 2A. And our first cut that we are going to take is at 11 inches. And this is one where we need the zip strip that's on this side. So what you want to do is cut at 11 inches, leaving that zip strip intact, because that's going to give us a 1.5 inch piece that we'll use later. Okay? And then we're going to cut at 11.5 inches. Okay? And then of our piece with the zip strip on top, we are going to cut this one at 9 3/4. Okay, so that gives us this piece here. So this is what we're using. And that leaves this little extra here. Okay, so as you can see, this is kind of how it works. Our piece is bigger than 12 inches because we have the zip strip. Okay, so this piece here is for page number 5, and we need to leave the zip strip on it or add a little piece as you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's for page number 5. This is an extra. This little zippy piece right here is an extra. And then this piece here is for page number 5. Okay, so that was 2A. And 2B is that same pattern. We're going to again cut at 11 inches. And then 11.5. These are some really big pieces for these layouts. Okay. And again, we have the zip strip on the top. And we're going to cut this one at 3.5. And at 2 3/4. And what we need is that zip strip on the top for the pieces that we're using. Okay, gives us that little extra 1/2 inch. So this is for piece number 6 or page number 6. This little piece is extra right here. This piece is extra. They go in the very front. This piece is the flip side. And these are for page 5 is the little one. And page 6 is the big one. And that was 2B. Pattern paper 3A has some direction to it. And the layout that we're doing, I want to show you my preliminary layout because I want you to see why you want to do the directions. Okay, so this says 6 by 12. This is for pattern for page number 7, which is this layout right here. This, we want to make sure that the words are all going the right way. And I'm going to use that same piece over here to make sure the words are the right way. So we want to make sure with this one, we're going to go ahead and take the zip strip off. Okay, we're going to go ahead and cut that zip strip off. We're going to save it because it's got some really nice pretty words and everything on it. Now we're going to cut at 6 inches because we want the words to go up and down. And then we're going to cut at 4 inches by 10. And we're going to be using the flip side of this. And this little piece is extra. And then we're also going to be using, this is 1.5. And then we're going to cut it at 7, and that gives us our second 5-inch piece. And these are also asking us for the flip side. So this is what this ends up looking like. Okay, so we have an extra piece here. and our zip strip. This little piece here is extra. This is for page number 7. And now we have it to go up and down correctly. And this is for page number 8. And these are both for page number 3 and page number 4. Alright, and these little pieces go in the very front. Alright, so the next one is the same kind of thing, a little tricky in that we want to make sure our piece is going the right way. So again, for 3B, we're going to take the zip strip off, and we are going to, our first cut is going to be at hold on, I want to make sure we get this one right, because this needs to go this way. This piece here needs to go this way. So we are going to cut at 9 inches. And then we're going to rotate this around and cut at 6.5, because that gives us the right way that we want page 8 to go. Then we're using the flip side for a 5 by 4 inch piece. So this is, okay, wait a minute, what do we got? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and cut this at 4 inches. And we're going to cut this at 5. This is an extra piece. And then this piece is 3/4 by 7. And this is extra. We now have a 1.5 inch piece here that we need to cut. And we're going to cut at 7 inches. And that's going to give us our 7 inch piece and our 5 inch piece. And this is 1.5 inches left. And we're going to cut 2 at 5 inches. I don't know why. I'm just doing a video for my class for tomorrow, so I try not to do a whole lot of talking. I will when I break the video, just so you guys know. I'm not really ignoring you. Alright, guys. Alright, this piece is for page number 8. This piece here is for page number 7. Of course, on the flip side, this is an extra piece. This little piece, this 3/4 by 7 is for page number 3. This little piece is extra. Our zip strip is extra. This is for page number 4, which is the flip side. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is for page number 3. And then we also have these two for page number 4. And an extra. And that takes care of all of the pattern paper from the kit. So now we are going to move to the cardstock. And this is cardstock 1A. And our first cut is at 2.5. And then 1/2 inch. And our next cut is going to be at 4 1/4. And then we're going to cut out at 6.5, or 6 1/4, I'm sorry, 6 1/4. And then we also need a piece that is 3/4 by 2.5, which is right here. We need a 1.5 by 12-inch piece. And now we need a 2.25 by 6.5. And this is how this piece looks. We're going to go ahead and put it away in our pieces. So this is for page number 2. This little itty bitty piece right here is for page number 3. This piece right here is for page number 1. This is an extra. This little piece here is for page number 1. This one is an extra. This is for page number 4. 2, 3, and 4. This piece is an extra, and this piece is for page number 4. And the extras, again, go in the very front. All right. All right, so now we're moving on to cardstock 1B. That thing is all over my floor here. Cardstock 1B, again out of Hollyhock. Our first cut is at 4.5 by 7 3/4. Our next cut along the line is at 5 1/4. And we're going to cut at 7 1/4. Okay, so that's all the cuts for this piece. This one goes for page number 1. This piece goes for page number 7. This is an extra, an extra, and an extra. See, we've got lots and lots of extra that we're going to be able to do some really nice cutting and things with, matting. All right, this is cardstock 2A, and again we're using the Ivy Lane green, which is kind of a cross between pear and sweet leaf. Our first cut is going to be at 8.5. And then we're going to do 3 1/4. Our next piece is going to be at, yeah, because this is 8.5, right? No, this is 8.5. Okay. So now we're going to cut this down. Our 8.5 inch side, we are going to cut down to 8 1/4. Gives this little itty bitty skinny piece. And we're going to rotate around and we're going to cut at 6 1/4. And then we have a 2 1/4 inch piece by 4.5. And this is 2 1/4. So we just got a little skinny, and I wanted to leave this piece kind of big just in case we needed it for something else. All right, this one we're going to cut at 3 inches. We're going to cut at 2 1/4 time, and we're going to do that 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to rotate this one around and cut at 1 3/4 by 5 inches. Let me show you what this one all looks like so you guys can see. It's really not hard. This is for page number 4. This big piece here is for page number 3. This little piece right up here in the corner is for page number 4. This is an extra. This is an extra. These 3 little pieces right here are for page number 2. This little one here is an extra. This is an extra. Our 175 by 5 is for page 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these little pieces are extra as well, which go, of course, in our front. All right, we're going to cardstock 2B, which is exactly the same color. And our first cut is going to be at 6 3/4 by 2 1/4. Then we're going to cut this piece down to 6 1/4. We're just saving paper here. Gives us a nice little long strip. And we're going to cut this one at 4 inches now, and at 2 inches. And our piece needs to be 2 1/2 by 2. This is the final cuts for that piece. So this one here is page number 3. This piece here is number 1. This little piece here at the top is for page 1. These are both extra, as well as these 2 pieces. Okay, that was cardstock 2B. We are now going to 3A, which is the Ivy Lane Purple, which is kind of along the lines of a little darker than Smoky Plum. And our first cut is going to be at 9 inches. And we're going to do it 4 1/4. And we're going to cut it 2 inches. For whatever reason, my trimmer is... And then we're going to cut this one at 6. And at 2. That leaves us a little piece. Our next cut is at 4 1/4. And we are going to cut at 3 1/4. And at 4 inches. And this little piece right here, we are going to cut a 1/2 inch piece. And we need a piece that is 6 inches long. And we need a piece that is 2 inches long. And our last piece, we're going to rotate and cut at 3 1/2. And then we're going to make that 2 inches, and that's just going to give us a little extra to play with if we choose to. Alright, so here is piece 3A. This piece here is for page number 2. This piece here is for page number 2. This piece is for page number 2. These 2 pieces are for page number 1. This little piece is for page number 2. This little piece is for page number 1. This is extra, extra, extra. This little piece right here is for page number 1. And these 2 pieces are extra as well. So they go in the very front. So that was 3A. We are now doing 4A, which is a piece of bamboo cardstock. Yes, Kitty, I see you. See what you want, too. I'm just making that impossible. So our first cut is going to be at 3 inches. I know that's Martha saying, here, kitty, kitty, by 10 3/4. Our next cut is going to be 3 3/4 by 4 1/2 and by 5 1/4. And that is all that we need for this piece. So this again is 4A. This piece is for page number 5. This is extra. This is extra. This is for page number 7. And this is for page number 6. And this piece is extra. All right, now we're going to do 5A and B, cardstock 5A and B, which are out of the White Daisy, and these are the photo mats for the pages. So our first cut is going to be at 6 1/2 by 4 1/2 and by 4 1/2 again. Okay, and then at 3 inches, which is that last remaining piece, and then we're going to cut at 1 1/4 at 4 inches and at 1/25 by 1 1/2. One 1/4. 4, and our next cut is at 4 inches. We're going to cut at 3. We're going to cut the next one at 4 inches. We're going to back this up and do 2 inches because we're making 2 by 2 squares. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the last piece is a 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. Those leave these extra pieces here. And I'm not going to put these away just yet. What I am going to do is I'm going to ink the edges, so I want to leave them out and ink all the edges. So I'm going to leave that one there. And I'm going to do 5B right at the moment, and then ink all the edges together. So the first cut is going to be at 4 1/4 by 6 1/2, and then at 3 1/4, and a 2 by 2 piece. So okay, now we need this is 7 1/2. We're going to do 5 1/2. 7 1/2 by 5 1/2. And then we're going to cut at 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And we need 2 of those. That leaves a little itty bitty piece at the end, and that piece there. And that is all of the cutting that you need to do and sorting on all of the pieces. I'm going to go ahead and ink up the pieces that are for the photo mats. I'm going to ink all of those in Smoky Plum. And the next video that comes up, Ivy Lane 8-page workshop layouts part 2, will be up on the site in a few in order to show you how to glue down each of the pages. So go ahead and ink up your pages and then go to the second video. Thanks so much for joining me. You can find the cutting guides over on scrapandstampcreations.blogspot.com.